Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to share with you a story that recently caught the attention of many followers across social media and entertainment platforms. It involves two well-known names in Turkish television, Yağmur and Barış. While their story may have seemed quiet for a while, a single moment has brought everything back into the spotlight. And this time, it's not a scripted drama, it's real life. In the fast-paced, ever-changing world of Turkish showbiz, headlines come and go, and relationships often seem as fleeting as the seasons. But sometimes, one subtle moment can stand still long enough to make everyone take notice. And that's exactly what happened when Yağmur and Barış unexpectedly crossed paths at a recent private event. It all began with what seemed like a regular Instagram post. Yağmur shared a few elegant photos from the night of the event, dressed in a timeless, sophisticated gown, posing with other celebrities and smiling gracefully under soft lights. The caption read, "Nights like this remind me of what truly matters." It sounded like a general reflection, but for those who looked a little closer, one detail stood out. A familiar figure in the background of one image. Barış. Yes, the same Barış with whom Yağmur had once shared a complex, emotionally charged chapter of her life. One that had since become the subject of both speculation and silence. Sources who attended the event say it wasn't just a coincidence. The two not only crossed paths, but actually spoke, in private, for several minutes. Their conversation wasn't loud or theatrical, but it didn't go unnoticed. According to several eyewitnesses, the moment felt genuine, intimate, respectful, and quietly emotional. Let's rewind a little. 4 months. The relationship between Yağmur and Barış has been the subject of endless rumors. At one point, their closeness sparked hopes of a romantic bond. Though never confirmed publicly, their connection was undeniable. Then, without warning, they seemed to drift apart. Social media went quiet. Mentions stopped. Appearances became separate. Eventually, new names entered their lives, and fans assumed the story was over. But now, seeing them together again, even briefly, has reopened that chapter. Not necessarily for gossip, but for reflection. What happened that night? And more importantly, what does it mean? People close to the organizers say the moment wasn't just a polite hello. It was a real conversation. One guest, who asked to remain anonymous, described it like this. It felt like time stopped. It wasn't casual. There were emotions, respect, and, above all, a clear intention to heal old wounds. So now the big question hangs in the air. Was this a reconciliation? Or simply the closure they both needed to move forward? Their body language suggested a depth that words didn't need to express. There were no dramatic hugs or overt romantic gestures, but something was there. In the way they spoke, in the way they looked at each other, in the soft smiles that followed. Interestingly, this moment comes at a time of major personal transition for Barış. News recently surfaced that he is becoming a father. The public announcement of his future child's name, Yağmur, and whispers of a potential separation from his current partner have placed him back in the media spotlight. He hasn't made any clear statements, but the speculation continues. Yağmur, by contrast, has chosen silence. She's stayed out of the headlines, avoided personal interviews, and shared only positive, often cryptic posts with her followers. That's why this event, and her willingness to speak with Barış openly, has caught so much attention. It speaks to a kind of emotional maturity, a readiness to confront the past with calm and respect. Neither of them has revealed what was said during that conversation, but those present described the tone as kind, peaceful, and purposeful. It wasn't necessarily romantic. Rather, it seemed like to people choosing to face their shared history with honesty. And that's what truly resonated with fans. Almost immediately after the images spread online, hashtags began trending. Hashtag Yağmur, hashtag expected reunion, hashtag emotional maturity. The reactions were thoughtful, not scandalous. One fan on Twitter wrote, "It doesn't matter if they get back together. What matters is that two people who once cared deeply about each other had the strength to meet again with respect. That, too, is love." Others echoed that sentiment. It wasn't about drama or headlines. It was about closure. Or maybe a new beginning. Some close to Yağmur revealed that she had known Barış might be at the event, yet she chose not to cancel. She felt the time had come to face the moment. Similarly, Barış had reportedly prepared himself emotionally for the possibility of seeing her again. Neither ran, neither deflected. They simply met, without cameras, without drama, without performative gestures. And in an industry where conflict often gets more attention than kindness, this quiet reunion stood out. So where do they go from here? That's a question only they can answer. Reconnecting doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation in the romantic sense, but it could be a turning point, not just for their story, but for their individual healing. At the very least, they seem to have re-established mutual respect. In a world full of scripted endings, this unscripted moment of maturity reminds us that growth and peace are still possible. Even in the spotlight, it's not always about fairy tales. Sometimes it's about choosing to speak rather than walk away, to look someone in the eye and acknowledge what was, and maybe what still is. What Yağmur and Barış showed us is simple. Closure doesn't always need words. And sometimes, the most powerful statement is a quiet conversation between two people who once meant the world to each other. Whether this story continues with a new chapter or finds its natural ending here, one thing is clear. This meeting was meaningful, not for gossip, but for growth. Not for headlines, but for hearts. And maybe that's what we need more of. Stories that show us how to reconnect, to forgive, and to move forward with grace. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you found this story moving or thought-provoking, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into moments that matter. Moments that remind us of what it means to be human, even in the world of fame. Until next time, take care and stay kind.